Supreme Court ruled against Planned Parenthood, blocking the group from suing South Carolina over the state's efforts to defund it. The decision now allows South Carolina to cut off Medicaid funding for Planned Parenthood and could pave the way for other red states to target the organization. The vote was 6-3 along ideological lines. Leaders of Planned Parenthood condemned the ruling, calling it a, quote, grave injustice that strikes at the very bedrock of American freedom and promises to send South Carolina deeper into a health care crisis. So, Molly, your new piece for Vanity Fair has the headline, Why We Must Go Forward in Post-Roe America. Now, with this new Supreme Court decision as its backdrop, tell us what you wrote.
So I wrote about how important it is to sort of honor the many ways in which second-wave feminists moved women along in the world. And so even though there's been kind of a reckoning because of Roe being overturned 3 years ago this week, there was a feeling in which there was some, second-wave feminists worked so hard for a number of things, and they got a lot of those things. But Roe was reversed, and that has been, I think, a real blow to women's health care across America. So I just talked about how important a lot of the other things they've done are, and how women like us wouldn't necessarily exist if it weren't for those women. Because, I've been thinking a lot about my mom, who was a second-wave feminist, and her legacy, and how they really did grow up in a world where women weren't able to have their own checking accounts.
Yeah. So, Lauren, you, of course, are on the front lines of this very issue. Where do you think things stand now, a couple years post-Roe? There's polling that suggests it's less of an electoral issue, in some recent races, but at the same time, it's something that so many Americans, not just women, Americans are living with each and every day as a part of their health care.
I got it wrong in November because I really thought that Roe was going to be, that abortion rights would be a bigger galvanizer and mobilizer in the presidential election than it turned out to be. And that was because it had been in all of these other races in the midterms and then, of course, in the ballot initiatives that happened in each of the states. I do think we're going to see more pushes for ballot initiatives. I just want to highlight why this decision by the Supreme Court is so catastrophic and in line with the same kind of revocation of health care that the Republicans are proposing in the budget bill. Essentially, what this allows is it allows states to target individual health care institutions that they do not like or agree with. And it doesn't necessarily end with Planned Parenthood. But think about the fact that poor women now can't go get mammograms or pap smears or other basic health care, which is, of course, a huge part of what Planned Parenthood does. The Republicans have gone after them relentlessly because of abortion care, but it's not everything they do. And what we're worried about, what even, many Republicans are worried about, rural health care, rural hospitals are shutting down, rural clinics are shutting down, doctors are leaving anti-abortion states. So where does that leave families? It leaves them in grave danger. I think it's going to come back. I think this was massive, massive overreach on behalf of the Supreme Court. It's really disturbing.
And of course, something we will continue to follow here.